Well, good morning. Welcome to Common Thread. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. For today's guided meditation, we'll practice self-examination. So, for that practice, you're going to want something to write with. And at the end, as I do, I'll invite you to join me this week, continuing to explore the question we ask ourselves today. But let's first begin by relaxing our bodies and relaxing our minds. Find a comfortable place and take a slow breath in and let it out even more slowly. For example, if you do a 3 count in, try and take a 6 count out. Breath in and a slower breath out. And on that longer exhale, check your body for any tension. And as you are breathing out, let the tension go. Slow breath in, slower breath out, and drop your shoulders. As you exhale, soften your face, relax your neck, through your belly. Take a moment. Slow breath in, slower breath out, relaxing. And for our self-examination today, let's look at our thoughts. Let's look for them and let's look at them. Because negative thoughts operate under conscious awareness. They still affect us, but they do it in an unseen way. So let's look at our negative thoughts and then let's explore what's going on behind them. Because sometimes just seeing a negative thought will be enough to back it down, but other times we need to poke at it a little bit. So we'll do that. Ask ourselves, is this thought, is it really true? Now, usually there's some truth to it, or we would have never picked it up to begin with. But is this thought, this negative thought, is it true enough? Does it factor in the whole picture? Is it true enough to merit the time and the energy that I give it, how I let it shape my days? Is it true enough? So, but the first part has to be seeing the thoughts in the first place. So, again, another slow breath, slower out, relaxing as we exhale. And let's begin by just asking ourselves that broader question. What are my negative thoughts? What are my worries? What are the harsh words that run in my head? What are my negative thoughts? Take a moment and write down what comes to mind. Now I'll suggest a few specific negative thought patterns, and if you recognize one of them, again, write it down, and later we'll use what we write to poke at those negative thoughts. Here's a common one to begin with. There is never enough time. Or, I just can't keep up. Or, I always have too much to do. Now again, some parts probably true, but probably not as true as the thought insists. So if you recognize that thought pattern, write it down. Take a moment. And as always, if you need more time, simply pause the recording. But here's another thought pattern. I am not enough, or I don't do enough. Don't do enough for my job or for my family. I don't do enough to change the world. Another version of that thought could be, I should be more like that person. You heard that one before? Or I should have achieved X by now. Or if the word loser comes up, or if the word poser, that's a common one, fraud, poser. Well, if you recognize any of those thoughts, write them down. They're in there, and they unconsciously run a lot of our lives. We ought to see them. Take a moment. Again, pausing if you need more time. Here's another one. People. Ugh, people. People are terrible. People always let you down. People only care about themselves. I give and I care and I help, but nobody reciprocates people. Ugh, people are terrible. Well, if you recognize that one, or if it brings up other negative thoughts, write them down. We'll take these few moments now. Slow breath in, slower breath out, relaxing as we exhale. And ask ourselves, what are my negative thoughts? And write them down. Now this part of the guided meditation, it's the first part of a process. It's the seeing part. Seeing those negative thoughts. Now when I did the exercise, I saw my own negative thoughts. Something like anonymous people, nameless people doing dumb stuff, harming society. And in my thoughts, I'm assigning motives to those people, and I'm categorizing them, and I'm calling them bad people doing bad things. Now, I'm smarter than that. I've had more experience than that. I know human nature well enough to know that we're all a mixed bag and we all want the same things, but those thoughts are in there. And worse, I've challenged those thoughts before. But doing the practice this week, there they are again. So I'll be poking at my thoughts this week, and I'm hoping that you'll join me. I put a sticky note in my car, bad people, bad things. Reminds me every time I get in the car to poke at my negative thoughts. Try and bring grace and charity to my thoughts toward others. So I've got my list. You've got a list on your paper as well. I hope you'll join me this week. Indwelling divine, may we not be dominated by our negative thoughts. Amen. Well, I pray a growing week for you, and I hope to see you on Sunday.